Okay, so here we go to finish up part 2. So 21st digit of 713. So if you divide, you have your calculator on this part. If you divide 7 by 13, your calculator, you'll find it's 0.53846, 0.5384661, and then it just keeps repeating that over and over and over again. So I'll put a bar above it. It just keeps repeating those 6 digits, 538461, 538461, forever. So, how do we find the 21st digit? Well, let's suppose, to make it a little more interesting, I said the 495th digit. How do you find? Well, okay, yeah, let's do the 495th digit. How would we find the 495th digit? That's way, way down the line. How are you going to find it? You can't write them out. What are you going to do? Well, basically, you got to find. You've got to. Let me write the steps out here. So step 1. Find number of repeating decimals. That's 6, right? There's 6 repeating decimals. So first off, find the number of repeating decimals. There's 6. And we'll call that n. Find n, the number of repeating decimals. Step 2. Long divide n into this number, whatever it is, 495 or whatever. And find, well, here, next I'll do step 3. Step 3. The remainder is how far, the remainder is I don't know how to say this. The remainder is, how far into the repeating pattern. So you can put this on your 3x5 card. So in other words, if I'm going to take, there's n is 6. It's 6 numbers repeating again. I'm going to long divide now 6 into 495. And honestly, I'm just going to use my calculator. It's 495 divided by 6, and I get 82.5. I'm not going to do the 0.5. I got 82.5. Cut off the 0.5. Just do the 82. Then use your calculator. Well, in fact, you could just do this. Yeah, let me not do it that way. Let me just do long division regular. I'm probably confusing you. Sorry. 6 goes into 48. It goes into 49 8 times. Use your calculator if you're a little rusty. 6 times 8 is 48. 1, bring down the 5. 6 goes into 15 2 times. That's 12. So there's the remainder. The remainder's 3. What does that mean, remainder 3? That means to go out to find the 495th digit, you've got to go do 82 times 6. That means there's 82 groups of 6. That's how many go into 495. There's 82 groups of 6. So you'd have this 6 digits 82 times. And then there would be 3 remaining to do. So after doing this whole group of 6 digits 82 times, then you would go 3 more. So you'd have this, this 0.53846, 8461, 538461. You have 538461, 538461, again and again and again and again, 82 times that whole group of 6, and finally 3 would remain. So you'd start again with the pattern and go 5, 3, 8, stop. That's the third number, remainder 3. So the third digit is 8. That's our answer. What is the digit? It's 8. You see how we're figuring that out? Because there's 82 groups of 6. to go out 495 digits, you do 6 digits 82 times. That almost gets you all the way out there. 538461, 538461, 82 times, and in the final group, then there'd be 3 remaining. Go 1, 2, third spot, it's an 8. So the 495th digit would be an 8. Also, don't worry about part B. Just skip it. Don't worry about it at all. I won't count it against you. At the end of the semester, it won't count against you at all. Don't worry about part B. Okay, now 0.49 bar. Remember that we learned that whenever you have the repeating, you know, the 49, 49 forever, that's just 49 over that number of nines, over 99. Right, because there's 2 digits, so it goes over 2 nines. Now what about this one? This is 5.167, 167, etc. So that's going to be 5 and 167 over 3 nines. That's what makes that repeating happen. So you can do it that way, or if they want you to make it a mix, I don't even know if they want, I guess they want a simplified fraction. So you're going to need to multiply the bottom and add the top. So 5 times 999, add the top, 167. And that'll still be over the same denominator, so that'll equal, I don't even know, let me see, plus 167. It's going to be 5162 over 999. There it is, 5162 over 999. So number 12, we use the formula A equals P, 1 plus R over N to the NT. How much would it be? It's 6 years. So 18,000 is deposited, so the principal is 18,000. The interest rate is 4%. The N, what is N? Quarterly, that is 4 times a year. And the T again is 6 years. So N is 4, T is 6. So that's 18,000, 1 plus 0.04 over 4 to the 24. Just make that power 24. Hit the buttons on your calculator. I'm getting 22,855 point 22. Okay, so 13. What is 9% of 25? Let's do part A first off. What, that's my x, is, that's my equals. We're just going to take these to direct equations. 9%, that's 0.09. Of means times 25. So just what, that's my x, is equals 9%. Of is times 25. So use your calculator. 0.09 times 25. I'm getting 2.25. Okay, part B. 22 equals what percent x of 44 times 44. So I just directly took that. 22 equals what percent of 44 times 44. So there we go. Now how do you solve for x there? Divide by the 44 and you'll get 0.5. But that's not my answer because they said what percent. So we got to turn that into a percent. How do you turn that into percent? You take the 0.5 and you put the percent symbol on it, moves 2 places. So it becomes 50%, doesn't it? See, 12 is, so bring it up here, 12 is 20%, that's 0.20, of times what number? X. How do we solve for x there? Divide by 0.20. X is 60. And then finally, part D. What is x is 6%, 0.06, of 35 times 35. So 0.06 times 35, 2.1. There we go. So 14, a set of tires on sale, 30% off, bring the price down to $161. What was the original? So remember that formula. New price equals, I'm forgetting the formula here. The new price is the original price times 1 plus or minus the percentage. Plus for increase, minus for decrease. So the new price, that's the 161, that's the new price, equals the original, call that X. We don't know the original, so we're looking for, you can just leave the word original there if you want. Original, so we want to find what's the original. Times 1 plus or minus. A sale, does that add or subtract? That subtracts, that's minus. It's a big minus there. Minus, and what's the percentage? 30%. Make that 0.30. So bring that down, that's 161 is original. Times, and then 1 minus 0.30 is 0.70, and then solve for X there, or for the original, divide by 0.70 on both sides. So the original equals $230 was the original higher price before the 30% off sale brought him down to 161. Okay, so on number 15, Emma drove 90 miles in 2 hours. This was only 3/7 of her total trip. How far was her total trip? So what they're saying is, we'll put this in simpler words, 3/7 of total trip is 90. Right? 3/7 of the total trip is 90. That's what they're saying. The 90 miles she drove was 3/7 of her total trip. So 3/7 of her total trip is 90. So we can change that into math. 3/7 of is times. Total trip is X is the equal sign, 90. So we're trying to solve that for X. Or we can, if you want, just leave total trip there. So 3/7 of times total trip is 90 equals 90. How do you solve for total trip? Get rid of that 3/7. What's going to get rid of that 3/7? Multiply by 7/3 on both sides. And so then we can come on down. Total trip will be 210. So the total trip was 210 miles. Okay, so I'm going to make a slight change to this problem number 16. This should say, listen to music. Okay, so Susan read for 1/5 of the time, music for 1/6 of the trip, talked for half the trip, and then there's another 20 minutes. So that's her whole trip. That's her whole entire trip. So that means 1/5 of her whole trip times X. Let's let X equals total trip. In fact, if you want, you can just use total trip. So 1/5 of times her total trip plus 1/6 of her total trip plus 1/2 of her total trip plus 20 minutes equals the total trip. Is that might be confusing here. That's true what I just did, but I'm probably confusing you. Here, let's do it this way. It'd probably be a little bit easier. Just take those fractions that they gave you. Take the 1/5, the 1/6 here, and the 1/2, and add them up. So if we add up those fractions, got to get a common denominator, right? So multiply top and bottom of this one by 6, this one by 5, this one by 15. Going to make all the denominators 30. So 6 out of 30 plus 5/30ths plus 15/30. If you add all that up, what's that? 11, 26/30ths. Reduce it, divide by 2 top and bottom, 13/15ths. So if you add all that stuff up, that's 13/15ths of her total trip. So Susan, she read the book, listened to music, and talked for 1/5 of the time, 1/6 of the time, and 1/2 of the time. If you add all that up, that's 13/15ths of her total trip, was reading the book, the music, and the talking. So that's 13/15 of her total trip. That leaves, how much does that leave? If I said, hey, I ate 13/15 of the pie, that leaves 2/15, doesn't it? If I said I ate 13/15 of the pie, that would leave 2/15 of the pie left over. So Susan's reading, music, and talking all adds up to be 13/15 of the total trip. That leaves 2/15 left. So that means 2/15 of her trip, the last 2/15 of the trip is the 20 minutes. That's the other 20 minutes. That's what was left at the end. The last 2/15 of the trip is 20 minutes. That means 2/15 of times the trip is 20, doesn't it? 2/15 times the trip is 20. Let me bring it up here and finish solving it. So that means 2/15. So 2/15 of times her total trip is 20 minutes. Solve for the trip time. How do we solve for the trip time? Multiply by 15 over 2. Multiply by 15 over 2. So the total trip time must be 150 minutes. So the whole trip is 150 minutes. Now what do they want from me? How long did she read? She read the book for 1/5 of the time. So 1/5 of the 150 minutes, right? 1/5 of the 150 minutes. It's 1/5 times 150. That's 30 minutes. She must have read for 30 minutes because it's 1/5 of the whole time, and we found the whole time to be 150 minutes. So it's 1/5 of the 150, 30 minutes.